Regardless of whether we use the top-down approach or use the bottom-up approach, as we'll see later in this module, there are two key components in your analysis services project that we must have to start. A data source, which we already know defines where the physical data is stored, and a data source view, which contains the metadata about the physical data. The schema generation wizard builds the data source view directly, like we see here, but we can easily build out a data source view manually, or modify the generated data source view, or DSV for short, that was created for us. The initial process of creating a data source view is the selection of tables that we want to use to develop dimensions in cubes. And as we add tables, they appear in diagram form in the center of the workspace. And as we add tables, they appear in diagram form in the center of the workspace, and in tabular form on the left side of the workspace. As we select a particular table or a column in a table, we can view the related properties in the Properties window, which by default displays to the right of the diagram. We often change the names of tables or columns here if for some reason we don't have the necessary permissions to modify the names directly in the data source. Notice also in the DSV we have primary keys in each of our dimension tables, including each level of snowflake dimensions. We cannot see the primary key for the time dimension here, but it exists. Also notice we have relationships defined between foreign keys in the fact table to dimension tables, or between child levels in the snowflake. The purpose of the DSV is to provide an abstraction layer between our physical sources in the relational database and our logical schema in analysis services. We can use it to combine multiple data sources that we might not be able to join together relationally, and we can use it to simulate structural changes that we would not be allowed to do in the underlying source if we didn't have the right permissions. We can use it to simplify a source that has lots and lots of tables so we can focus on just what we need. And by having the metadata of our schema stored within the project, we can work on the analysis services database design when we're disconnected from the source. We only need connectivity when we're ready to load data into analysis services.